Hello and welcome to Recovery for Life. I'm Chris Howard, peer counselor at Midtown Health Wellness in New York City, and the host of this weekly podcast where we discuss addiction and recovery and anything else that comes to mind. Peer, of course, meaning equal, meaning we're all on a level playing field, which means I'm in recovery myself. As of this past January, I've got 10 years clean and sober. I should note that it took me 18 years to get here. Relapse isn't required, but certainly isn't uncommon. Before we get going, it's important to mention that I am not a doctor, and we are not here to dispense medical advice. We also don't advocate any particular course of treatment. Please speak with your physician regarding issues related to your specific medication or treatment plan. If you don't have a program and would like to discuss options, you can find Midtown Health and Wellness at nyc-doctor.com. The series of podcasts is essentially our group discussions on tape. The 5 others joining me are all part of the Suboxone program at Midtown Health, so one of our recurring topics will be everyone's personal feelings about medication-assisted recovery. The focus will not be so much on our past, our addictions, but how we're navigating our individual paths towards physical and emotional health. Putting down the substance is just the beginning. What happens next is recovery. I'm going to virtually pass the mic now and give everyone a few minutes to check in, and then we'll dive in. So who's going to be first today? Frankie, you want to jump in first?
Sure. I'm Frankie. I've been with Midtown Health and Wellness for a little over 4 years. It's been a wild week. Put in one of those almost 80-hour work weeks this week, which is oh so fun. And I'm just gassed, totally cooked. I took the day off yesterday to perform with my band, which was a really nice outlet for me, because that creative outlet really gets the juices flowing, especially when there's the monotony of the week of just get up, go to work, do the thing, come home, go to sleep, get up, go to work, do the thing, go to sleep. So in the rat race, that was really nice to get through. I have a couple things when discussing our topic today, but for now, just a quick check-in and a hello.
Cool, thank you. Let's see. Amy, you want to go next?
Sure, why not? Hi, I'm Amy, and I have been with Midtown Health and Wellness for almost 3 years, I believe, now. And it's been a heck of a week for me too. But I'm here, and that's what matters. Because there's some times when you just don't want to be here. So I'll pass it on to John.
Hello, I'm John. Sorry. Having a bit of technical difficulties here. It looks like my camera cut out. But anyway, can you guys hear me? Okay, great. I've been having a somewhat of a hectic week so far. Been busy at work, trying to just get ready for my wedding. I mean, it's approaching now less than 4 weeks, and there's a lot to get done still, so it's a bit overwhelming. But other than that, I am doing really well.
Cool, thanks. Hey, Audrey, we're going boy, girl here. Audrey, you're up.
All right. Boy, girl. That reminds me of elementary school, but it's funny. Checking in. At the moment, I'm pretty exhausted. I took a trip this weekend to Philly, and I did not get much sleep. So there's that. Overall, I think, let's see, this past week, things that have happened, I was fighting with my insurance for a while, for like a month, and this month they told me that I had to make an appeal to get a certain medication. It's like a medication that I got put on for bipolar disorder because one of my psychiatrists thought that I had bipolar disorder, and I've been on it for a few years. Still not really sure if I do, but I think it helps. And I have been off of that med for a few days. So currently I'm trying to determine if the feelings that I'm feeling are because I'm off of the medication, like depressive feelings, or if they're from other variables. But yeah, I'm supposed to be trying a different medication. I'm honestly afraid to try it because it has so many negative side effects. But I feel like I have to try it. So that's where I'm at. Work has been crazy, and I'll keep it short like everyone else. But overall, like, I'm pretty okay. Like, I'm not awful. Keeping my spirits up, so that's good.
Okay. I like not awful. That's something. Benny, you are up.
Cool. Hello. It's such a weird thing talking into these mics and not hearing yourself in the headphones, because I feel like none of you can hear me. But
Yeah, we can. No worries.
okay, cool. I don't know. I kind of have so much going on in my head. I now have made a decision to go full disclosure this meeting of the kind of California sober style I've been doing for the past couple weeks, which with varying success and failure, and just I don't know. It'll be but yeah, I guess on the topic of like fear this week, like I feel like in sobriety I really struggle with like fear of banality and like letting things be not super eventful, and like just the aftershadow of all the ups and downs of addiction really keeps me like emotionally and intellectually just like craving these ups and downs. And so I don't know, I guess I'm trying to navigate like how am I going to have a recovery that's like really still like stimulating to me. I have a pretty low threshold of like the amount of boredom I can stand. And so it's like, how can I keep things interesting without courting disaster? I don't know, some things I'm thinking about, but yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks for that. Thanks for your honesty. I guess more of that's going to come up. I've had a hectic week. I came back to California on Sunday, so did a little travel. And it's certainly busy out there in the world. There's a lot of people flying, a lot of people in the airports, and speaking of fears, most people are unmasked at this point. So I was not. I wear my mask on the plane and in the airports just because why not, right? I can. And there's plenty of other stuff going on, but it's good to be back out here for now. I'll probably be coming back to New York fairly soon, but got business to do out here too. So life is okay. I really have nothing to complain about. And if I do, nobody wants to hear it anyway, so it's okay. I'll keep it to myself. Although this is kind of the place to do it, but not really complain, but talk about what's going on, and I'll be happy to do that too. So moving ahead, we did kind of talk last week. The whole idea of fears came up, and the fear of living sober was one of them. To start off, it was the fear of living without the drugs or the substance or the alcohol or whatever it was that we had. So that is where it kicked off, but it certainly bleeds into anything. A lot of what goes on in 12-step programs is fear-based. We talk about getting over all of these fears of, fear of failure, fear of financial insecurity, fear of people, fear of all kinds of different things. And all of those come to light when we get sober, because it all comes up. So we're going to start going around. I don't know if Benny, you started to talk about it. Do you want to go first and start jumping in on this? topic?
Yeah. Just like a couple things I've been thinking about recently. Like, well, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I've really very much struggled with my like ego so far in recovery, and the kinds of pressures I put on myself to be some sort of like um, successful that is externally defined, in the long run. Like, I think we call it like living in the wreckage of our future. That's just like like second nature to me. I'm always thinking about how am I going to manage to eventually come out the other side like really brilliant and everyone knows it. And so, but yeah, so I have this immense fear of failure. And I haven't really taken the time to define for myself what success or failure really means, and I guess in recovery I've kind of been discovering more of a personal value system, and like given myself permission to define just like what success is and what successful living actually feels like to me. And I guess, I don't know, making art is very much a part of that, but so is like being a part of a community and contributing kind of like no matter what, which is why like I feel like it's important now to be, like Amy said, just like showing up for this group and this conversation, even though like there are some things going on in my life that I'm not necessarily like proud of. And like I feel like or like things that are going on that I just don't know quite what to feel about. But I'm not choosing to just kind of like clam up and isolate. Instead, I'm just gonna kind of whatever, put it on the table. But yeah, like that's a kind of success also. That's just like showing up for myself. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like for me, I'm just like always trying to be more present and just invested in invested in whatever is giving my life meaning on a day-to-day basis, just like thing by thing. And that's just, I mean, I don't know, that might seem very obvious and pragmatic, but I guess it's taken like a lot to like reel it in, to just live in like day by day. So I don't really know. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks. Amy, do you want, I'm going to unmute you. I had you muted, Amy, because we got muted.
No, I muted myself too.
Oh, okay.
I did too. So, I noticed everybody was muted, so I'm catching on. Okay. Well, I have a fear of, because, I had a first life and now I'm in my second life. That's what I call it. It's not really two lives, but like I lived 20 years in one life and now I'm living in this one. And it's like, I'm afraid that I'm forgetting everything, you know what I'm saying, in my first life. And it was special, but I can't really talk about it, except like to Chris for 15 minutes once a week, you know what I'm saying? So like, I have a fear of like forgetting, and also being present in this life and not getting it mixed up, you know what I'm saying? Or comparing it, or, cause you can't do that. Like, it's a total different life. Like I had a husband, a kid, and then boom, and then I have a husband and a kid. So like, and then, in your day to day, and then when you're with someone that doesn't understand addiction whatsoever, like just has no clue about it, it's very hard. It's hard. I'm just saying. I don't know if that has anything to do with this conversation, but right now that's what I'm dealing with. And I say silly things, and I say things that, since it's hard for me because I have been on medication since I was 19 years old. The doctors just threw it at me. Here, take this, that. So I used to be a straight A student. I graduated 5th in my class. Now my mind just doesn't work like it used to. I'm not going to say like it's supposed to, but I'll say things like, I can't do everything. And I don't mean it like the other person's not doing nothing. And it's just like a fear of someone not understanding you. You know what I'm saying? Just not getting you. And then also a fear that I've got to water myself down because I'm just too much. It's too much for some people. And I am. Honestly, I am. So that's where I'm at this week. I'm just trying to live.
I think that all makes a lot of sense. And that what you said about repeating ourselves that's a real fear. And you had a very different life before. I mean, you're welcome to talk about it. You don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Repeating it, yeah.
Yeah, but you're welcome to talk about what happened in the past. You don't have to hide it. It's up to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So whatever.
Thanks.
Okay. How about Frankie? You wanna jump in on this? I think I have you muted still too. Hang on a second. There you go.
There I am. Sure. I have fear of different things nowadays. When I was deep in the throes of addiction, my fears were financial and, are people everyone knew, but are they going to find out? But, everyone knew. But, am I going to get my next dollar? Are these people going to pick up the phone? The work life, the 2 work lives that I was living was crazy. My one full-time job, which was a, full-time restaurant job in a public eye. And then my full-time job of being a drug addict. So, there was a ton of fear. Now, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of drugs. I really, really am. Like this week specifically, I was sitting on the couch at my job, and I was thinking about the podcast, and I was thinking about these things, and I was like, 5-6 years ago, this time would have been where I would be in the bathroom doing my thing so that I could take a nap or get through the day or do all these things. Now I have these terrible thoughts that, like, if I have a craving, like, so my next dose kills me. Or the next time I do drugs, it kills me. The next time I do something like that is my last time. And I have sometimes when I think, you know what, maybe I can do it one more time. I have this fear of death, and I have this fear of losing. I have such a life now. I have a wife, I have a family, I have all these things, and I'm afraid to lose those things. And that's a great thing. I don't know if that's a good, I don't know. I don't understand it, but I know I'm doing the right thing. So that's fear for the right reasons, I guess. I think.
Yeah. Healthy fears.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they're financial as well. And, I have real life normal, it's hard to say normal, real life normal person. And where, I'm not a normal person, but normal person fears, financial and family and work and all these things, they're normal. And it's interesting to have those fears because I never had them before. I was afraid of other things. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, when we do get sober and start building our lives, we have a lot more to lose, right, than we did before. And it makes a lot of sense. I don't want to lose what I've gained in the last 10 years. I don't have a lot, but I have a sense of self. I have self-worth. I have self-esteem. I have things that are way more important to me than what I had before. I mean, the things that I had before.
Yeah, I have me back,
Right.
which was important before I discovered, heroin. The person that I was and the person that everyone knew, and you know, I have me back, which is exciting, and I don't want to lose that again.
Yeah.
Having to be, being able to be just me again is relaxing.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, it's that comfort level of I'm okay. I don't want to lose that feeling either. It's so important. Who wants to order? You want to jump back in?
Yeah, sure. Frankie, what you were saying about how this fear is a healthy fear really was also really interesting to me, because I was thinking about that on the way, like something similar on the way back from work today, how so much of my life has been controlled by fear, and your decision making sometimes can be controlled by fear. Like, there was a big storm today and I was freaking out at my desk because I kept thinking about like a tree hitting the building, and the sound of the hail on the ceiling freaked me out. Loud noises scare me. I mean, I've been dealing with fearful, intrusive thoughts since I can remember. I mean, I never wanted to speak in front of a classroom. I would start shaking in elementary school, and my mom would call the teacher and tell her that I didn't want to read my story in front of the class. So I have a lot of little fears like that, but I mean, I think I have a broad range of fears, and it's just interesting too how it affects your decision making. Like, I feel like my decision to do drugs was out of fear, and fear of being myself, and fear of my own thoughts, and being alone with my thoughts, and fear of living life without something that alters my consciousness. And I think there can be healthy fears, but it's just kind of, it gets exhausting when I feel like my whole life is controlled by fear, and I do know how to cope with it now, but sometimes it gets really overwhelming still. So it's very important for me to talk about people with. But yeah, when I was using, I mean, I still had all these fears. They were just shoved further down and numbed for the moment. I still had all these fears. These fears would still be in my head when I stopped using, and in retrospect. And now I'm dealing with similar fears to what I had since I was younger. But now I think I know how to cope with them a lot better. And, sometimes it feels like, for me at least, when this fear comes back, I like fear about anything, like I said, having a tree falling on the roof, or fear of talking to my boss about problems I'm having at work, or fear of not having enough money or not being able to pay for student loans, fear of not being good enough. I could go on, but yeah, it's just, I think I've learned how to cope with them a lot. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to be gone completely, but I think the important thing for me is at least talking about them and realizing that I'm not necessarily made of all these fears. It's just a thing that happens. But that's not always easy to realize either when I'm deep in anxiety mode or something. So yeah, I think fear can also definitely lead you towards making a bad decision or a good decision, but like at the same time, it takes a while to learn what is a good decision for you and what is a bad decision for you. I'm still learning that. So I think really for me, I just have to keep being open and as honest as I can be, and seek support and stay as strong as I can, because it's like Benny was saying, there's like a lot of living with these ups and downs. You get used to the ups and downs, and then when everything's normal, it's like, all right, what's going on here? Or like everything's normal. Put that in air quotes. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'll end it there.
Thanks. It's really it can be fearful when everything's okay, like what's coming down the road, right? But you said a lot, boy. Being controlled by our fears, absolutely. I lived my life that way. I can't tell you for how long. When every decision I made was based on the fear of what might happen because of what my actions were, or what someone else's are that I couldn't even possibly know, couldn't even predict. But I was thinking that way anyway. And it really does. It affects our decision making. And you're also right in that, once we get into recovery, at least we start to develop some tools to deal with these things. This is far from overnight, right? I mean, it takes a long time. But while we're using, we can't even start that process because we are, like you said, we're masking all of that and just, or at least avoiding dealing with it. And that all makes an enormous amount of sense. And John, we haven't heard from you yet, and I know your video's frozen, but I'll bet you're there anyway.
I am here.
I knew that.
Yeah, I related to a lot of what everybody said, but in particular, what Fricky said about using. I have this innate fear, maybe it's healthy fear of using again. I don't know, being on the brink of death, it puts this different perspective in my mind where I look at it as a life or death scenario. I can choose to go use and then I can go die, or I can choose to stay sober and be a better version of me, or at least that's what I'd like to do every day, and it's what I try to do every day. And I don't know, it's a really scary notion. Especially with the drugs that are out there today, they're super powerful. I don't know. These things just kind of irk me, and I try not to think about it. I try to think about all the good things I have going on in my life right now, to just stay positive and keep on the right track. Because I don't know. I feel like deep down in me that what I'm doing, it feels right. So if it feels right, I kind of got to keep doing that. It just keeps motivating me to do better and be a better person. So yeah, I mean, but I do have other fears, but specifically to addiction, that one really hits home the most for me. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on fear and the fear of relapsing, really, and what that might entail. Could die, literally. I've been there. It's not fun. It's scary.
That's definitely a healthy fear. I have that too. I mean, I have very healthy and serious fear of relapse. because I did it for 8 years and I know what it was like, and I know how hard it was to come back every single time from that. And boy, I'll tell you what, I have a very healthy fear of that, and I don't go near any substance at all, because for me, one will lead to the next, to the next, to the next, and then there's no end. And any one of those could kill me at any given time. It could also cause me to make one of those very poor decisions that could endanger my life too, which situations I've been in many times, and I don't go back to that either. So yeah, those are all, it is pretty terrifying. Yeah, Frankie, go for it. You're up.
There it goes. It was, you said something, JC, and there's a quote from Shawshank, and Andy Dufresne and Red are sitting, and Andy says, "Get busy living or get busy dying." And what you were saying just reminded me so much of that, and that's really it. Like, get busy doing it, or get busy doing that, because you know how it ends, right? Like, we all know how this ends. We're fortunate enough to have the knowledge to know how this ends if we make the wrong decision. Get busy living or get busy dying. So it's very interesting. Like, you nailed it right on the head, John. Well done, JC.
Great quote. Go ahead, Amy.
It's just like, for me, adulting, living is very hard. I'm just being honest. I have a hard time with it without my substance, So, saying get busy living, it's like hard for me. That's the hard part. You know what I'm saying? The easy part was pushing everything under the rug and doing your drugs and whatever. But the hard part is the living part, and making those hard decisions and stuff like that. That's all I wanted to say about it.
That's why we're here, because living is the hard part. It really is. Getting into recovery and starting this process is extremely difficult. And we have to face all of those fears in recovery. All of those fears that we tried to bury, we then have to take a look at, an honest look at. That's terrifying.
Well, see, I've sheltered myself, especially since this COVID. You know that, Chris. Chris has been trying to get me out for 2 years now. So that's what I'm talking about. Just kind of getting my cocoon and, so anyway.
Thanks. I know it's hard to get back out into the world. There's been a lot of that fear anyway. Even people who are not in recovery, getting back into the world after COVID has been a challenge for everybody. It really has, because we got used to hiding out, some of us, and as addicts, listen, that's the default: is isolation, hiding, keeping to ourselves, turning the phone off, and binging Netflix or whatever was actually legitimate during the pandemic. Could binge Netflix all we want, and everybody else was doing it too, so it was okay. But I'm trying not to do that anymore, because I'm trying to get back out, and it's been a little bit dicey. I think I don't know if I said this last week, but when I was in New York, I was getting back out to some of the old meetings I used to go to and interacting with humans again who are also in recovery. And it was great. It really was. It's also exhausting to go out there and be with people and be in that mix again every night. And I didn't do it every night. I did it 3 nights a week. But, every time I went to a meeting, I saw other people I hadn't seen in a long time. And it was actually getting a little bit, it was wearing me out after a while. It really was. But I never did that much socializing in the rooms before. It was all new again, and it was fresh, and it was like, wow, this is great being back in here, and everybody's, bringing their energy back to the rooms. And it was really nice. I think that the Zoom was great. It was a great way to transition to a different way of life, because lots on Zoom now, and that's great. I get to see people that way too. I don't know. There's nothing like the energy of being in a room with other people and picking up on that and feeling what they're feeling. And it's just very different. And making actual eye contact as opposed to virtual eye contact, which is also very different. I found that a little bit challenging, going back into the mix and sitting with people and talking to them again, actually getting back into the whole eye contact thing, which was really, really important to me, getting into recovery, because I wasn't able to make eye contact with people for years and years. And then a couple of years in, I was able to start connecting with people again. And, and it was like going through that process all over again, getting back into the mix again. So it's not so easy. It was definitely challenging. And for people doing it for the first time, I think it's got to be really, really challenging. It certainly was for me when I first came into recovery. It was incredibly difficult to walk into one of these rooms, talk to people, be honest, and open about my fears, which were all consuming when I came in. Absolutely all consuming. I lived in fear of everything. And of course, in fear of the people that I was about to embark on recovery with. I was terrified of them too. They scared the crap out of me, people in recovery. I don't know how about the rest of you guys, but it was really difficult for me to get this process started. And like you say, it took me 8 years from the first meeting I went to actually diving in with both feet. It was tough. It was really challenging for me. Anybody else? Jump in. Raised hand.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in. This is John. I just, I was having a conversation with my fiance, who's also in recovery, over the weekend. We were kind of just reflecting on just, although, we've put in a lot of work. It's been about 2 years for me. It's been over 2 years for her, in recovery, and just being able to, deal with life without drugs it's very challenging, and learning how to live life again live life really without drugs. 'Cause that was my go-to for escapism, right? I just wanted to get away from everything, even myself, and that was my way to do it. And I have to deal with these real life problems now and navigate them and figure out how to do that as a sober person. And I think it takes a lot of determination, courage, brutal honesty, things like this that just I never really would have even considered before. And being able to sit here now and reflect on that and acknowledge the fact that I have put in a lot of work and I have made a lot of progress, and there's a lot more to do, but that in itself could be scary, but I kind of, I don't know, maybe I look forward to it now because I have a lot of great things going for me, and I don't want to abandon it or lose it to drugs, or even the worst, right? Like we were discussing earlier, as Ricky brought up, die. It's a real thing. Like I don't know if anybody's looked at the news recently, but fentanyl overdoses is the number one cause of death between, I think, was it ages of 18 to 45, right? That's scary and really disturbing to me, because I feel I wouldn't wish this upon anybody, but being in it, I know it's made me a stronger person and the person I am today. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I don't know, young people, dying, it saddens me, and that alone is a scary notion. And I think maybe this podcast will help people that are maybe in that situation and reconsider it because it's not worth it. And that's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You said a magic word in there too, which was work. This is work. Recovery is work. It's not something that's handed to us. We have to be in it every day. We have to be working on it. And we have to do just what you're saying, tackle life. Things happen in life. We have issues we have to deal with. We have problems, but in recovery, they're so much more easily dealt with than when we're avoiding them and using. Because guess what? When we're using and we come out of that, the problems are still there. They don't go away. And more often than not, they escalate while we're hiding from them. And so it makes a lot of sense to just face these things. And these are a lot of these fears that we just walk through and face in recovery and don't hide from, because I have found that, for me, the dread is always worse than the act. I worry and worry and worry about what the result is going to be. And then when I just do it, I go, oh, that wasn't so bad, was it? It was all about what I was projecting onto these things. And it's just, yeah, Amy, go ahead. You're up. You can unmute, or do I need to do you? There you go.
I just wanted to say that I'm proud of each and every one of us, and that we've been through the worst of it. We've been through the just to get into where we get our minds right to go get help. You know what I mean? So I want y'all to feel proud of yourself, proud that you have a job, proud that whatever we have overcome. And that's all I wanted to say, because it's hard. It's very hard. And that's what I wanted to say.
Thanks. It was really sweet. And you're right. Go ahead, Audrey.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks for that, Amy, because just before you said that, I was thinking wow, I really I struggle with a lot of issues with self-worth as well. And I can relate to what Benny was saying about how his tangible achievements are what drives him. And or if you're not producing enough, you start feeling bad about yourself, or you're not being as successful as you want to be. And honestly, when it comes down to it, thinking so negatively about myself is not really going to help anything. So yeah, that it also helps though to hear that you are proud of us. And yeah, I know I should instill some of that pride in myself. It's a little difficult, but I think it'll keep getting better. And obviously it helps to hear that. So thank you.
Nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back every once in a while, saying, you know what, I've come a long way. I think everybody here has come a long way. Amy, it's really nice of you to say that. You're absolutely right. Everybody should be proud of themselves. Everybody here, look at what we're doing. This is a little miracle right here on this screen I'm looking at, the six of us sitting here talking about this stuff. And like John said, couldn't possibly have imagined 5 years ago, 10 years ago, having a conversation like this, doing something like this, trying to help other people, using my experience to benefit others, if at all possible. Joe, Frankie.
5-10 years ago, I would have been lying about it. 5-10 years ago, I would have been sitting in this room telling everyone a lie. 5-10 years ago, I wasn't ready to tell the truth, and I wasn't ready to accept this. And 5 years ago, I would have been, because I tried to get sober a half dozen times. I mean, I went to a half dozen detoxes and then worked it, and then told people I'm doing great. Look at me carrying around my blue book. Blah, blah, I'm awesome. Look at me, sobriety, yay! Blah, 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 blah. But I just wasn't ready to, I wasn't ready to be honest with myself, let alone anyone else. So This is hard work, and we should all be, Amy, you're right. We should all be very, very proud of what we've done and where we are, because, the people that do this and can't get through it, it's tough. It's a tough thing. And those people, it's tough. I don't judge anyone, but we're the tough ones, man. This is not easy to do. Playing center field for the New York Yankees, recovering from drugs. I mean, it's tough, man.
I don't know which would be harder. I've never played center field.
And neither have I. I just imagine that, chasing, a tiny rock that's just been hit 140 miles an hour and trying to catch it for $300 million a year is as stressful as sobriety sometimes. So, anyway.
You're probably right.
Anyway,
Yeah, that honesty is the tough part, isn't it? Coming in here for the first time, going into any recovery program for the first time, seeking out help for the first time, being honest about it is one of the hardest things any of us has ever done in our lives. I'm convinced. I know it certainly was for me, and I think I was honest with other people before I was honest with myself, because I had to get this. I had to do something, but I'm not sure I fully believed that I was an addict and an alcoholic when I started the process, but I felt like I had to change my life somehow. And I started by raising my hand in a meeting and making an admission. I'm not sure I fully believed it at the time. It took me a little bit longer to be honest with me. But that's okay. I mean, I was there. I walked in the door, and I was part of the process. And that's man, that was so hard. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I did it more than once, of course, because it didn't take first time around, or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. It had to be whatever it was, the 10th time. And then I was convinced, and then I was convinced, and then I could be honest with myself. And boy, that took me a long time to get to that. Like you said, Frankie, you too, and John too. I think all of us here have struggled at one time or another and been in and out and taken a couple of cracks at this thing before it took hold, before it got us and took hold of us. I had just that conversation earlier. Go ahead, Benny.
Yeah, I just also wanted to say before I just don't say anything. Thank you all a lot for your honesty and just like continually telling your full, like, transparent truth, because somehow, I don't know, this is the only thing in my life that like reforms me. When my behavior starts to get like starts to make like certain like little insidious changes that I just can't. I guess I'm still learning how to really check myself. And like what you were just saying, Chris, about like the thing taking hold, like, I don't know. I've always had such like a relationship with drugs that's like, I don't know. I've maybe had one like near death experience that I can, and I guess I never really felt the gravity of it. So for me, it's just something that makes me feel more interesting, which is, that's pretty hard to let go of. But I don't know. I read a quote the other day from somebody I like a writer that I like, his Twitter. And he's an AA too. His name's Brad Phillips. But it's the acceptance of personal mundanity is the path to harmony and freedom. People who think they're special are burning this world to the ground. And I don't know. I really liked that. And it helped me in the moment, because I'm like, I guess just because it's, he's someone I really admire, and like he's boring too. And it's okay to be boring. There's just, I don't know. There's so much tediousness and mundanity in accomplishing what's actually important. And fuck, that's the hardest thing for me. And that's strength. Just sit in that. So, yeah, patience. So.
What a great, very non-boring quote that was. I mean, seriously, we are all the same. We're all doing this together. And you're right. We cannot think that we're better or worse than anyone else. We're all doing this together. We're all the same. That's what makes all of this work. That's what makes recovery work. That's what makes this little group of ours work.
And we're all damn good.
Yes,
And
we are.
yes, we are. And we need to keep that in our heads. Amen.
You are good for the egos, Amy. Oh, really? It's
Well,
so true.
we're good people.
Good
Can
people.
tell we're good people. So, hey, I love cool people.
Being addicts or alcoholics doesn't make us bad people. We just have an illness like any other. And you're right. What a great group of people. I couldn't imagine hanging out with a better group of people. Seriously. And yeah, we're all in this together. We're all doing the same thing. The minute we think that we're not, that's when we get into trouble. Just like that quote. I think that's brilliant, really. I really do. I'm glad you brought it, Benny, because it's that is not boring or mundane. That's the truth. And the truth is far from boring. It really is. It's what we do here. It's why we're here. It's why you brought that quote, because it's true. It's your truth. I think it's everyone's. I think that's a universal, really. When we do think that we're more or less than, we get screwed up. We really do. And this keeps us grounded. Doing this keeps us grounded. It keeps us, like you were talking about, Benny, accountable. Right? When we're here, when we need to show up for each other and we need to participate in this, we're held accountable and we're part of this group. We're all part of it. We're all doing the same thing. We're all equal parts. We're all 1/6 of this little group tonight. Each the exact same percentage. And that's what makes it work. That's what's so beautiful about all of this, is that knowledge that we're the same. I love that. I loved learning that I was the same as everybody else. I thought that was a frigging miracle, that I was not any different. I mean, that was just incredible. And when I started coming into the rooms, believe me, there were people in the same meeting as me who made millions and who were walking in off the street. And guess what? We were all talking about the same thing. We all had the same feelings. We all had the same conversations, and we all laughed about the same things, and we all cried about the same things. And it meant that I belonged. One of the first meetings I went to in 96th Street was, I thought everybody was insane in that room. And I was too. I belonged in there. I was absolutely part of that group. And, we loved each other. And I was there every night for 2 years. And it kind of dispersed after a while, which was sad. But I ran into people, at other meetings after that. But it was just a totally disparate group of people. But I tell you what, we were exactly the same inside. We all felt the same things. And that was such an incredible experience for me, walking into a place like that and knowing that I belonged, that I was one of, and I mattered too, just like everybody else in the room. That was just mind-bending when I discovered that, because I thought I was all alone in this world. And guess what? We're all doing it together. And that was just an amazing, amazing revelation for me when I found that out. So it all makes sense, Benny. Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. I'm glad that everyone has brought what they have to this meeting tonight. And every time we do this, it blows me away every time we have these conversations, because the things that come up are just incredible, and they're real. They're real, and things that we all feel and we can all share. And no matter what any one of us says, everybody else can say, oh yeah, I get that. Sure. I know that. I've been there. I understand. And everybody's nodding all the time. We get it, right? We're all the same. It's just amazing how it all works. It really is.
And you're not boring, Benny, at all, hon. You're really not, darling.
Thanks.
It's great. No one, there's not a boring person in this group. I can tell you that. We have a great, great, wonderful group of people. All of you are amazing. And we're closing in on an hour again. It's shocking how quickly these things go. But we got about 5 minutes left, so we could do some gratitude. Unless anybody wants to throw anything else out there before we do our gratitude round, which we're open to, or we could just start a little extra gratitude time. And Benny, you're unmuted, so why don't you go first?
Oh, wow. Wow, gratefulness. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm really so grateful to each and every one of you, individually, for just bringing the heat. You know what I mean? Like, this shit, I just am so compelled to listen to you and and like just like behave. I don't know. Yeah, like it really does. Like whatever y'all's truth, it does sound like my truth too. And that is kind of an amazing thing that we're able to go so deep and still connect on such a profound level. That's like enough to keep me moving when things are feeling just like static and meaningless. It's like, well, like there, I mean, every fucking addict has to deal with this. This is, I don't know, this is it. This is the task. This is the challenge. So, I just appreciate you all. I kind of like the stormy weather, so I'm kind of into the hail right now. And yeah, the sky is like really ugly. So it's kind of cool. Yeah. And I'm a little bit grateful for Twitter too. That's where I found that quote. And I've just been finding some good stuff on Twitter recently. So I don't know, but yeah, thank you.
All right. Gratitude for Twitter. Like that. Very cool. I'll just go around. How about Audrey? You want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I was trying to find the unmute button, but I am very grateful that you all were willing to reschedule for me yesterday, even though it didn't happen. Thank you very much. I was freaking out a bit, but I was like, man, they're just nice. Like, yeah, I'll do it. 7 p.m. It's fine. So yeah, I'm thankful for all of you and for that. I'm just thankful I got to do this again. I didn't think, I don't think I thought I would ever do this ever. So it's great to be able to just communicate openly, honestly, and hear everyone's honest thoughts, because there's not a lot of that in this world, I don't think. So yeah, I'm grateful for you all in this group, and grateful that I got to see my friends this weekend from high school.
Cool.
That's
John, you're up.
All right, gratitude. I'm so grateful to be part of this group, to be able to sit here and openly and honestly share and hear everybody else's shares. They're really touching and moving. It's just something really special, and I don't know, I look forward to it every week. And I just hope that others can benefit from it just as much as I do. It's a really special thing to be able to come to a place where you can relate to every single person. It's really, really cool. And everybody is really awesome. So there's that. But other than that, I'm grateful to be alive, sober, healthy, happy, and here.
Thank you. Frankie, you are up.
There you go. Let me unmute myself. Sorry. I am, as always, grateful for this group, my sobriety, and my wonderful, caring, and understanding wife. I am grateful for Stephen King for writing that short story that I was able to quote, Shawshank Redemption. And I am grateful for the wizards over at Oreo who created this incredible birthday cake Oreo cookie. Whoever the adults were in the room when they were making that happen, you have done a fucking fantastic job. Those are delicious. Gratitude.
Hallelujah.
At the end, we're going to have a round of applause for the Oreos. Amy, you're up.
Okay. I was thinking about buying those yesterday and I grabbed the regular ones. Okay. You got me. I'm going to try them. I have to. Okay, so y'all know I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to you, Chris, for inviting me into this group because I needed this in my life. I just didn't know it. At first, I was like, nah, I don't know about this. They might not like me, or I'm too much for people, or blah, blah, blah. And then I said, stop with the excuses, Amy, and just try it, And I love it. I love y'all. So anyway, I'm grateful for y'all. I'm grateful for my daughter's love. She is in love with her mama, and that I don't know what I would do without it. So, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I hope we help at least just even one person out there. Anyway, praise God. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
I love you, Amy. I'm so happy.
Love having you here.
Yeah.
Well, I am, of course, always grateful to you guys. And I just want to reflect very quickly on something Benny said, which was that, you're looking inward to connect to people. And I really believe that the deeper we look within ourselves, the more we connect to each other. And I think that's what we're doing here. And I am grateful for everything I learned from all of you every single week and every time we talk, because you're all brilliant and insightful, and it's just an amazing process that we go through. So thank you all. And we're going to close it out. Thanks again, everybody. And thanks to our listeners for joining us. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share about anything you heard today, please send us a note through one of the various available channels. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again, everybody. A great night. Have a great week. See you all again next Sunday.